June 1997, was requested to go to Bronzeville Elementary School. Met my partner at a bus stop, a park and ride, and we went in one vehicle, went in a company vehicle out to the job site. Took us about an hour to get there. It was a pleasant morning. We got to the job site. What we're going to do is check to see if the hardware would let us adapt new buckets to old switchgear. This switchgear was in a revamped boiler room, clean atmosphere, but the boilers had been removed, and upon inspection, when we removed the side panels on the switchgear, I could see that there was a old film across the buses, and pretty good indication that all the paint on the outside didn't help what was inside. But this switchgear, there was quite a few switches in it that was defective, and the intent here was to order new buckets to be installed. Being the original manufacturer was no longer in business, this was a retrofit, and it was just a matter of seeing if the connecting hardware was going to line up. I had decided that I was going to see if I could safely disengage a bucket and see if we could get the hardware to match up. My partner went out to the vehicle to get something, and in the meantime, I disconnected. I was able to reach in and work around this switch rather comfortably. I disconnected the switch electrically and mechanically, and I was attempting to remove it from the switchgear when the accident occurred. It had arced over, and there was a flash, brightest light I ever saw in my life. The noise was deafening, and I probably blacked out for, I have no idea how long, seconds. It couldn't have been more than a minute. But regaining my composure, I looked at myself and I saw that I had been burned pretty severely. I had skin hanging from my ears and from my arms, my chest. I was able to walk out of the building, met my partner who was coming in, and he was just aghast. He just couldn't believe it, because this is just a matter of seconds, basically. It was hardly any time from the last time I saw him till I saw him again, and he just looking at me like, he was probably more upset than I was, because I was in shock. Decided that he should drive me over to the hospital rather than waiting for emergency help, because the hospital was so close. We did that. Went to Bronzeville Hospital, and the decision was made to send me down to West Penn Hospital burn unit, which, interestingly enough, I was instrumental in wiring. So, two things that I never really got to enjoy was the helicopter ride, because I was out, and the burn unit, never really did see the inside of it, because I was more or less in a coma the whole time, and that coma was induced. I was out for 5 weeks. The skin on my face had basically burned off. Lost parts of my ears. There was actually metal impaled in my teeth. So, yeah, like spears. My arms were burnt from where my sleeves, I had a short sleeve shirt on. So where under the short sleeves, my arms were burnt. My neck was burnt. I had a hard hat on, had safety glasses on, and essentially that was about as far as it went. Power should have been shut off. Plain and simple. I made a very costly error by not insisting that the power was turned off. And as a result, I came very close to dying. I had acute respiratory distress from the smoke that I had inhaled, and that was probably the biggest thing that they had to work with or on. And I'd have to say that my family didn't deserve that mistake that I made. Again, I'll just reiterate, if you could actually see this light and explosion that takes place and the devastation after the fact, if you could see that, if you could witness that, you'd never work on anything that was hot. Part of what happened to me was because of my own ego, because I've done it so many times that, like I said, you get the feeling that you're infallible, and find out that you're just skin and bones. I was never complacent. I mean, always very careful, but my fault. It was my fault because, in retrospect, I made that decision to work on it hot. Your life has to be just as important as everyone else that someone's asking you to work on that hot. Okay, what inconvenience could that be to being in a hospital for 9 months? What was it worth it? When it comes to working on live circuits, live equipment, you really do have a choice. You don't have to work on energized equipment. It can be shut off. You're just too important. Think of your family. Think of your family.